Moving to Canada has so many benefits. It has amazing benefits. There's so many advantages, but we don't talk about the price that we have to pay when we move to Canada. In this video, we're going to talk about that. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I am Tobi and I film videos sharing my life in Canada. I have vlogs, sit-down content about career, finances, and much more, just lifestyle in Canada. So you will definitely find something useful. Please just go on my channel page to check all of my videos after you finish watching this video. Also, please don't forget to smash that like button for me. It really helps my channel and I would really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you aren't subscribed already. And yeah, let's just jump right into this video. So as I mentioned, and as you can probably tell from the thumbnail and title, this video is about the price that we pay when we move to Canada. So this is for immigrants, the price we pay when we move to Canada. And this isn't a video to discourage you. We're just going to be talking about the things to be aware of. The first section of this is related to your family. So there's so many things under this category. One is cultural learning. So when you move to Canada, or you maybe move to Canada with your children, with your family, or you move to Canada and raise children here, give birth to children here, it's like sometimes they don't grow up in the typical Nigerian household. If you're coming from Nigeria, let me just make it general, they don't grow up in the household that you grew up in. So the culture is different. They might not be able to speak your language. It might be very difficult to make them speak your language. I have cousins that grew up abroad. I have one that is younger than me and she speaks Yoruba, maybe a bit better than me. I hope she's not watching this video, but they're just things to think about and consider. It's like, okay, it might be difficult to raise your children here. The cultural difference might be difficult. Even just, oh, if you're seeing an elderly person and bending down every time and saying, oh, good afternoon, ma, good afternoon, this person, calling everybody auntie, calling everybody uncle. I know a lot of immigrants' parents really try to raise their children like their own cultural way, not the right way, but their own cultural way. And a lot of people are successful with this, but there are some people that find it difficult. And even with the people that are successful with this, they plan for it. They probably saw it as something important to them and probably started training their children about it from a young age. So that's just something to be aware of. Another thing under like the family umbrella is the things that your children are taught in school. So if your children go to school here from elementary school upwards, it's like it's a different environment. They're taught to be open-minded, which is good in a lot of cases, because going back to Nigeria, there's so many things I'm like, oh my goodness, I wish I wasn't taught this way and it would really help me or be helping me right now. But they're taught to be open-minded, and there's some families that want to be closed-minded towards some different issues. And it's like, where do you find the balance? What do you tell your child? They tell your child this in school, that this is okay, or do this or do that. And maybe at home you have a different practice. Where do you find the balance with that? How do you really shield your child in a society like this, where in school they might be teaching them things that you don't necessarily agree with? So that's something to also consider. It might not be an issue for some people, it might be an issue for some people, but I'm just putting it out there for maybe people that want to be closed-minded. I'm just putting it out there, so it's something to reflect on. And speaking on that, this also just falls under it. It's like the way you raise them is going to be very different. There's some things that aren't legal here, and obviously you won't go to the extreme here, but I feel like back home or wherever you're from, I'm just speaking, since I'm an African, I'm from Nigeria, I'm just speaking about the typical Nigerian home. There's some things that you cannot get away with here if you want to raise your children. Even something as little as sleepovers. I know back home in Nigeria, the typical Nigerian household, you hardly do sleepovers. They can allow you, your cousins, a few family friends are really close, but you hardly did sleepovers with your school friends that your parents don't really know. But here there's that culture of having sleepovers. Obviously you can be telling your children no, but it gets to a point where it's like, oh, everybody in my school is having sleepover, why am I the only person that isn't having sleepover? Do you get what I mean? Having a sleepover or going to people's houses. Also like Halloween, there's some people that don't celebrate Halloween. I come from Nigeria, we never celebrated Halloween. Like Halloween wasn't anything, wasn't an event for us. So it's like you come here, and in school there's like Halloween season. Even at workplaces there's Halloween season where people dress up. They're actually encouraged to dress up, wear costumes, things like that. People go trick-or-treating. Your children might want to go trick-or-treating or feel left out if they're not going trick-or-treating. So it's like, where do you find the balance? How do you maybe how do you raise a child in that how do you raise a child in that way where they don't feel like they're left out? Because you know, children, they will never really understand things when they're little. So that's just something to think about. Another thing again is family time. This society, I know back home to their evening jobs, their weekend jobs, but it's very common in this society or in this world. It's very common and very normal. So it's like, how do you balance family time when you have to work weekends, work evenings? There even sometimes where when new immigrants just come, they might just be in that hustle phase where the man is even working in different shifts, the woman is working in different shifts, they hardly see themselves and things like that. So how do you find that balance? And even with church time, it's like coming from a Nigerian household, Nigerian Christian household, we go to church every Sunday. This might be weird for some people because it's like you have to pick weekend shifts, or you have to tell your company that, oh, I cannot work Sunday mornings, I can come in the afternoon. And there's some people that will be okay with it, some people would not be okay with it. So there are just so many things to consider in that aspect. Not even consider, this video is not to tell you not to come, it's just things to think about and prepare for, basically. And speaking on this, it also relates to your marriage. It's like this is, let me just say, role changing. Like, let me just say, roles may change when you move here. Back home, there's some people that have the luxury, because this is having a luxury of eating fresh meal every day. But when you live here, it's like your wife is working as much as you're working. You guys are doing the same things. You might have to switch roles sometimes, where the husband will do the cooking, the wife will do something else, the husband will do the cleaning, do the laundry, etc. And for people that weren't used to this or didn't grow up this way, it might be difficult for them, or it might even cause friction in the marriage. So this is just something to consider. Like, don't be a man that will say, oh, my wife must cook fresh meal every day, even when we get to Canada, she must cook breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's like, fresh meal, you might not really have that luxury here. Some people do fresh meal, but it's not, I see it as a luxury. So if your wife is able to do that, if your husband is able to do that, like, kudos to you. But if you have that mentality, you might have to drop it and really just figure out what works for your situation. If you have to be the one cooking as a man, please cook. If your wife has to be the one doing, even women will start doing this thing, cutting grass. Do you get what I mean? So I like that things are balanced here. So just coming from a different country, seeing what is normal there, and coming here and seeing how things are balanced, that's just something to consider or think about. The next umbrella I'm going to talk about is career development. And this isn't necessarily getting a job and all that, you know, that's like, oh, Canada, you don't have if you don't have Canadian work experience, you can't get a job. It's not really about that. We already know that, and people still get jobs. This isn't the case for everyone, but it's just something to take into account and think about, and just accept that if you move here, you might have to start from a level below what you were in Nigeria or whatever country you're coming from. You might have to switch careers just because you're moving. Like, if you were moving, you continue with your career, but just because you're moving, you might have to switch careers, things like that. So it's like your career development might not be as fast as you would have expected. So that's something to just be aware of. It doesn't happen to everyone, definitely, but it's just something to consider and think about, because it would happen to a few people. Speaking on that, there's someone in my last company, and he was an engineer he had been practicing as an engineer for 15 years in a different country. And he moved to Canada, but he wasn't even an engineer, or he couldn't call himself an engineer. So after 2 years working in Canada, he finally became an engineer. He posted something about it on LinkedIn, and I was just thinking about it, and I'm like, that's actually a bit painful, because it's like, this man has 15 years experience. I know he's an engineer, like, he knows what he was talking about, and he was a great engineer, or is a great engineer rather. But just because engineering is a licensed profession here, you have to go through the Canadian process. And just thinking about that, it's like, this man knew a lot. He was a good resource. He came to the company, but there's a certain level of salary that they will pay him just because he didn't have that engineering title. He wasn't a professional engineer. They probably couldn't pay him as much as he is worth because of that. So think about it also. And in this career development aspect, one thing I'll suggest to actually overcome this is just to really plan. You can't really overcome it actually, but just plan well and be strategic about it. I have a video about transitioning careers, and I'll just link that in my description box. Quick question, as you're watching this, what price do you think you've paid if you've already moved to a different country, moved abroad? And this video is for any country abroad, actually, for any country that's not where you're actually living. So what price do you think you've paid already? If you haven't moved already, what price do you think you might have to pay? Let me know that in the comment section below. The next one I'm going to be talking about is the area of mental health. So this has different aspects to it. It's like loneliness when you come here. It doesn't affect everyone, because some people have a community and some people just have people around them, but there are a lot of people. You even see the videos on YouTube talking about loneliness in Canada, loneliness abroad, etc. So it's just something that comes with moving abroad. Obviously it doesn't affect everyone, but it's just something that might come with moving abroad. So that's something to also consider. That's a price we pay. Next one is also community under this mental health umbrella. It's like you might not have family around, you might not have friends around, just compared to where you were living back home. Like everyone around you was family or friend, or it could, like, they were just maybe a bus stop away. Obviously not a bus stop away, but it's like you might not have that community around you. You might feel like, oh, there's a lack of community. Also, even just thinking about it, like, see, when COVID happened, like, I know different people that gave birth during COVID and they couldn't get help. Like their parents couldn't come, their moms couldn't come, their husband's moms couldn't come because maybe visa, or they closed the border or something like that. And that happens a lot. And right now, visa wait time is ridiculous. Even thinking about it, the fact that someone or one of your loved ones cannot just quickly come easily to come and see you is a price you pay, because that can be sad. Like imagine someone that just gave birth and they really need their mother, but their mom's passport is stuck in the visa office and they have to wait like 1 whole year or 1.5 years to be able to come or even see their children. And just think of even the how it affects the woman if she doesn't have family members or people to really help her. There's some people that actually move, like they just land in Canada and they give birth like 5 months later. Just imagine a situation like that. They probably have not even built a community. So it's just she and her husband trying to like figure it out and work things out. So that's one other price we pay when we move here. Also speaking on that, there's also the time away from loved ones, like what I just said about the visa situation. I've met people here that haven't had the chance to go home for over 5 years, and they haven't even had the chance to bring any of their family members over for over 5 years. But thank God for FaceTime, thank God for WhatsApp videos. But imagine a situation like that where you're so far away from your family and you can't really do anything to bring them here, or you can't even do anything to go back there. That's like, yeah, that really affects people. And you never really know. Life is really precious. You never really know. You're not just always step away from your family. Then the last thing I wanted to talk about was just related to head starts. Like when you move to a new country, you might be starting over again. No matter how prepared you came, how how much plan you did or whatever, you might be starting over again. And in head starts, obviously you would definitely get to the level you want to be in, but there are just some things that push new immigrants behind when they come here. Just thinking about it, you can't easily buy a house until you've met certain requirements. It's easy for some people, but it's not easy for most people to buy houses within their first year of landing in Canada. So that's even something to consider. Someone might actually be someone that wants to buy a house, wants to go into the real estate market, etc., but you don't have that head start when you come here. Another thing is, even with job roles, like most times people really lowball immigrants with their first salary. So you're not earning as much as you should earn, or you're not earning your worth most times. So, and yeah, money is a lot of money. Money is not everything, but money is very important, especially in a country like this. Money is very important. And even with housing and things like that, you've just not built credit. When you come here, you now have to start building credit. So I feel like that even takes people steps behind. Just different things like that. There's so many things, but obviously with time, immigrants will be able to catch up and achieve their dreams, achieve their goals, definitely. So the ending of this footage got deleted by mistake, and I just needed to refilm this part because I feel like we deserve a round of applause. And this is for people who left their country to move to a new country. There's some people who actually left their nuclear family. Maybe the husband is abroad alone, fending for his family even while abroad, or they left their extended family, your parents, your siblings, loved ones, etc. And just thinking about it, like, you've made a bold step. You've taken a big risk, like in a good way. So be proud of yourself. I meet a lot of immigrants and it's like, oh, I wanted to do this. I feel like I'm stuck at my job. I wanted to buy a house at least 2 years after landing in Canada. Oh, I've been here for like 20 years and I've not been able to get a house. Or I've been here for like 10 years and I haven't been able to get a house, etc. But at the end of the day, you've achieved so many great things. So you need to think about that. And just even thinking about this is like, you had so many things against you, but you're still thriving. Even if, you're still renting, you haven't bought a house yet. Renting is a big deal. You were able to get accommodation. That is a big deal. And you're paying your rent. Have you seen how much rent is? That is a big deal. I just wanted to really encourage a lot of immigrants. And yeah, just watching this video, I'm like, there's so many things against us and we're thriving here. So I just wanted to, say kudos to everyone that has made that big step, that bold move of leaving their country to start all over again in another country. This is for international students, married people, people that came as PRs, people that are already citizens, whoever you are, like, kudos to you. You've done an amazing job, and I know that everything you would desire would come to you. Amen. If you're a Christian, amen. But it's like, just always remember that you had so many things against you and you are thriving. Like, see the things I listed. I listed a lot of things, but not even so much. There's so many other things that I didn't list. But it's like, you've paid so much and you are still surviving here. You're still thriving. You're surviving. So that's good. Kudos to you all. And yeah, that's the end of this video. I just wanted to talk about a few things that I feel like are prices that some immigrants may have to pay when they move here. And with a lot of these things, there's some things that you can't even really overcome or prevent. So you just have to plan ahead for it. And there's some that you just have to do a mindset shift to prepare yourself for it. Like, if you're a family, especially the things I spoke about family, sit down with your spouse and talk about it. Plan before you come. Like, okay, so this is what we're going to do. Do your research. Okay, these I know some people say, oh, you only take your children to Catholic schools, you only take your children to private schools. Just do your research about things before you come. Talk to your spouse about it. Oh, if your spouse is someone that eats fresh food every day, maybe before you travel, for like the last 2 months before you travel, you guys will start practicing for him to not eat fresh food every day, or for him to start learning how to cook or something like that. Just really plan ahead, do your research and all of that. But as I said, this video is not to discourage anyone. It's just, us talking about it and just reflecting about it. So I'd really appreciate you leaving things in the comment section. What price do you think you had to pay? I really hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to smash that like button for me. I'd really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you don't miss my videos. Leave comments. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know if there's anything I'm missing, because there's so many things that we have to pay for when we move here. Let me know what I'm missing in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on everything, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. You can say I lost my mind. I will keep on holding my head high.